I don't know about you, Phil, but I'm on my fourth cup of coffee today, and it is only like 11 a.m.
Oh, I've finished. I've cut myself off from coffee. Usually three. If I go past three, I need to cut myself off right there. And I've
You
switched
get
to water.
jittery?
No, I just if I don't, then it sometimes then I'm 4 or 5 cups in, and it's like, whoa, that was a lot of coffee. So I've established when Ignacio was little, I upped it to like 4 or 5 cups a day that I would allow
Well,
myself.
that's because of the lack of sleep.
Lack of sleep, yeah.
But can
But
you imagine if we would have bought 4 or 5 different cups of coffee at Starbucks or Better Buzz, or you pick it, Coffee Bean, wherever it might be, pick your local Java house, how expensive that would be?
yeah, I've seen a whole bunch of different numbers, but and now, okay, full disclosure. When I was in college, I did go to Starbucks daily, several times, sometimes more than once. And that was part of the problem with how I built up credit card debt, well, I had student loan debt that maybe I could have done without if I just didn't go every day. My excuse was, on the days I had work, I'm starting work at 7, I get off at 3, 3:30, and then I'm going to take 1 or 2 college classes. I might be taking a, 7 p.m. econ class. I, yeah, I need some more coffee, but I don't
You
do it
didn't need it.
anymore.
You mentally thought you needed it. Your
Oh,
your
yeah.
your body, it was chemically, you were like,
Well, after I
class
did it for a
late,
while,
I
my
need
body
caffeine. I
probably
need
needed it.
coffee. I need something to put in my hand. It's like
Yeah.
when it's habits. When we get in the car, I got to have that coffee cup, that Starbucks coffee cup that is right there. It's so familiar and so comforting and so loving. And it's all a bunch of BS.
Yeah.
It's just kind of the way our bodies get used to things. And there we
But
go.
that said, if I go on a longer morning drive, whether it's a presentation that I got to drive up to Oceanside or when we do road trips, I need that coffee. Although I don't go to the coffee shop anymore. That first cup of coffee, that coffee comes from my coffee machine
You
at
need it or you
home.
want it. I think
Um,
you
I
greatly
think
yearn
both.
for it.
I
I
think
don't think you need it.
I
I think
think
you
my
greatly
body is so
yearn for it.
accustomed to caffeine that at this point I may need it to
Hmm.
keep the caffeine withdrawal headaches from jumping
That
in.
is okay. All right. Well, that's
So
interesting.
from that perspective, because caffeine does affect your
It's
body
a
on
drug.
a
Sure.
biological level, so I think if I went too long
It's not
without
really
it,
a fun drug, but it's a drug.
no, yeah. So I think that if I don't take some kind of caffeine, now it doesn't have to be coffee. Coffee's just my uh, distribution of choice, but it could be a Coca-Cola or something like that. I don't drink soda, so unless it's an iced tea, uh, coffee's just how I get my caffeine. But
It's the only
you
way I get caffeine.
you
I
can
don't have
get
any other
it
source.
you don't have to spend a whole lot of money at the coffee shop. We did a podcast episode a while back with Just Coffee Co-op, and it was just cool to learn about the coffee process.
Yeah.
We have a lot of uh, cool roasters here locally in San Diego, and I'm sure people have them throughout the country. I'm on a mission to try them all, and they're a little bit more expensive than going to your grocery store where they have the giant containers of coffee that you could just pour your own bag, which is how I get most of my coffee. But you know, it's a lot cheaper to go get good coffee and make it yourself at home than it is to get the coffee you would get at a
Well, I
coffee
always
shop.
used to laugh. I'm like, what is really good coffee? And then I spent a couple days at my father's, our family home up in Big Bear, and he made his Insta pot, or the old school, when you
Oh,
put
the
in
French press?
the no Folgers French press.
Oh,
My
yeah, yeah,
dad,
yeah,
are you
yeah.
kidding me? It's like get out a little
You mean
thing
like the
and paper
Folgers
thing
instant
and put
choice?
Folgers instant crystals or
Yeah.
whatever, and it brewed. And you want to talk about tasteless? I'm like, what is this? And he's been drinking it his whole life, so that, I mean, that's all he really knows.
My dad
But
drinks
give
that
me my
stuff.
Keurig. I try different things all the time, and it's so much cheaper than going and buying coffee at your local coffee shop every day.
Yeah. So Sarah and I, for Christmas this year, we didn't buy each other Christmas gifts. We bought between the two of us for each other a espresso machine. So now I can make
Speaking
espresso
of caffeine,
coffees. Yeah, espresso
hello.
coffees at home. They're time consuming, so I only do it on the weekends. But so then you
Hey,
start
Sarah, can I have another
right.
espresso?
I started geeking out on it, and there's a science to it. There's a measurement to it. You got to weigh it to get the right. It's a
That
science.
sounds like way too
It's
much work
really
for me. I
yeah,
just
but
need a
it's
little
kind of
pod to
cool.
plop in and hit the button.
No, it's kind
That's
of
all
cool.
I
You
want to
got to
do.
get the right kind of grinder. It's got to be a burr grinder so
Oh,
that
that there's so
as
many
you're
steps
grinding
to
the
what you're doing.
coffee, it doesn't overheat and change the texture and the flavor profile. It's really kind of cool. It allows you to, but
Is
anyways, I
As
save
it turns
money.
out, is it cheaper than going to buy an espresso at some coffee shop?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
okay. Well,
Once you
then the point of this video series here, making your life simpler, doesn't sound to me like you're making your life simpler. Mine, I get a cup, I get a little thing, and I plop it in and I hit a button. Life is simpler. It's so much cheaper. I get the Keurig that comes via Amazon every 4 weeks and it costs me like $28. Not too bad compared to like I could spend $28 in coffee in 4 days at Starbucks.
oh yeah, you probably spend that
And by the
in two
way,
days at
it's not
Starbucks.
just coffee because Starbucks and those places, they sell lots of other different types of drinks too.
Yes.
And my little daughter, well, she's not so little, but my 13-year-old daughter loves the acai strawberry hold the fruit drink or a pink drink or whatever.
My
Yeah,
kids
chalk
love
those
cake
up to
pops.
$6 every freaking time. And
Yeah.
so I finally took out my thing and said, look, add up how much money you've spent in the last 2 weeks on your drinks. Literally, that's all it took. I should have done this a year ago. She looked at it, she freaked out, and now it's a special thing on Fridays. Every morning we go and she gets that one drink, and she's so proud of herself that
Yeah.
she doesn't ask every day for those anymore.
That's good that it worked out. I know you even tried calling her out on the local news when you were on there, and
I did.
that didn't work.
I
So it's
know.
good to see the
Well, it's probably
numbers.
because nobody young, and especially nobody told her that I called her out on the news because nobody young watches the news. So, I had to physically be like a parent and show her how much money she was spending every single day, week, month, and then add all that up. It was nuts. I'm like, you're physically, if you were to look at that, you just spent your entire bank account. And she was like, ugh. I mean, God forbid not go to Target and spend money there. So her drinking habit has almost become a thing of the past. And I'm very proud of myself.
That's good. And it probably wasn't, like you said, it wasn't necessarily even coffee, but yeah, get creative, track your expenses and see how much you actually spend on, we say coffee, but maybe for you it's something different.
Yeah.
And then tally it up, and like in your daughter's case, that oh wow moment where it's like, did I really just
Yeah.
drink that much worth of coffee? And maybe you find an alternative, or for whether it's a K cup or brewing your own coffee at home on a regular basis. I do one of those little drip machines, so it's very fast, very quick. The espressos for the weekends, but the
I would
as
also
much
like
as
to
too much
add
caffeine.
that before I get people all over me because the K cups, they're not good for the environment, whatever, they are recyclable for the most part. And I dump out the coffee into the little green trash can I have and then put those into the recycling. So be responsible out there when it comes to our great environment and our Mother Earth.
Yeah. And don't forget to like and subscribe these so you catch
You just
all
got a
these
lecture from me.
videos.
Subscribe to it, please.
And join us for the next one, and enjoy your cup of coffee.
Cheers.